Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate. It does it with Barb Schlinker, the host of the program and the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb, most home sellers believe that they should leave for showings, but what are some of the top 5 showing mistakes that agents do to sellers' homes, and how can they be avoided by the home seller?
Well, first of all, buyers like to view the homes with their agents, preferably without distraction. Like if they have a home seller kind of hovering over them, it's a little awkward, and it's hard for them to kind of see themselves in the home, I guess. But there's no requirement for the seller to leave the home if it's being shown. You can just step out of the way. And part of the problem is that some people just don't want to go anywhere. Another part of the problem is that sometimes the sellers, and this is why the agents will tell you, oh, you should not be there for showings, is that sometimes the sellers will either point out all of the flaws in the house, or they'll try to oversell and kind of overwhelm them, or they just, I don't know, it's a little uncomfortable for the buyer. The buyers are a little bit less um, a little bit fearful of actually exploring the home and kind of visualizing themselves in there, as I said. But if you do have to be home, it's okay. Just try not to hover. Maybe take the dog and go in the garage, or tell them you can be available for the questions if they want. But you certainly want to avoid discussing your motivation for selling, because that kind of speaks to, oh, maybe I can get a discount if I find out, well, they're moving because they're downsizing, or they're moving because, they're already bought another house, that kind of thing. That information should be kept private, because if you don't keep it private, these buyer's agents will try to use it against you. And I've had some crazy stuff happen at showings. First of all, most agents are going to tell you, make your home available all the time, day and night, whenever they want to show, drop everything and make it available. Well, I don't agree with that. I think you should make it work for you. There's an awful lot of people these days that are working from home, and it may not be convenient for them to allow agents and buyers to view the home every day, all day. You can expect that a majority of the showings are definitely going to be taking place on the weekends. So I would make arrangements for times on the weekends. And as we see the days getting longer and more daylight, make the home available, at least if you're working from home, in the afternoon, because a lot of people look at homes after they get off work, maybe 2 or 3 days a week at that time between, say, 4 to 7 o'clock, whatever works for you. But you don't necessarily have to do it every day. And there are an awful lot of agents that actually use a buyer lead, an opportunity to meet a buyer, by showing a house. What I mean by that is, maybe a buyer was looking on some website that they were connected to, and they say, hey, I want to see that home. Is it available? And so the very first offer from most agents is, sure, you want to go see it? Want to go look at it? And I have a problem with that, because they haven't really asked the buyer what they're looking for. They don't know, and they're not required to know, whether or not the buyer is qualified to buy the home, which I find utterly shocking and kind of a big hole in the industry here. However, so a lot of times the very first meeting with the buyer is at the house. Now, we see this all the time at our open houses. We'll see, people looking around, looking kind of awkward, and they'll go, oh, are you so-and-so? You so-and-so? Oh, nice to meet you. And then they walk up to our open house line and register, and they'll go, this is my buyer, as if they know anything about that buyer. And I guarantee you they don't. They just connected with them online. So sometimes they're using your home as a marketing opportunity, just to get in the door with the buyer and try to encourage them to go look at other homes as well. Same thing happens with the way some agents treat open houses. We don't treat them that way. We have a totally different strategy on open houses, but I will tell you that a lot of agents use open houses just to meet buyers, and that's not really what our goal is. Our goal is to create demand for our clients. Another thing about showing that that we see a lot is that, first of all, they don't know whether or not they're qualified, and they don't have to know. And unfortunately, I think right now in the Pikes Peak region, I haven't checked the numbers recently, but it's probably about 4,500. There are about 4,500 licensed agents in the Pikes Peak region, a lot more, of course, in Denver. And the stats are, they don't lie, across up and down the Front Range, 81% of agents sell 3 or less homes a year, and half of those don't sell any at all. Okay, so that means you've got agents that are either desperate for a sale, or just real estate's kind of a hobby for them. Oh, if I sell one, it'll be a bonus kind of thing. So a lot of them don't really study the market. And the problem is, when you get inside a home, the buyer expects you to know all about the home. They expect you to know all about the market. That is their expectation. There are actually real estate companies in this area that have built their business model on what they call the showing agent. These are licensed real estate agents that are paid to open a door. That's all they do. They don't know anything about the home. They can't give you advice about the real estate transaction. If the buyer's interested, they hand that person off to a selling agent, which is different to me. But the problem is, they're using your house to get in front of these buyers in hopes that they might want to buy something. And what's interesting is, I really never got any formal training about how to show a house until I was well into the business, over 10 years. Most brokerages don't offer any kind of training. That means that most agents really don't know what is appropriate showing etiquette. So, Richard, questions for you. Do you think it's appropriate, when somebody is showing your home, to A, use the toilets, B, let the kids roam unsupervised and jump on the beds? How about leave crumbs on your kitchen counter, track mud or snow in the home, or let some other unvetted buyers tag along with your showing that they don't know anything about them? How do you feel about that?
Wait. We're talking about somebody who comes in on somebody else's showing, and maybe they're thinking about buying, but we have no idea whether they could even remotely afford this house.
Or are they just, kind of scoping out the house for theft? And that
Or
has happened. So you have to, this is the kind of stuff that goes on, right? And again, I can't tell these agents what they should be doing with their business. I can't control how the other agents do it. All I can do is inform the sellers that things are going to happen, and there's a way to be prepared. Many times agents will leave doors unlocked, or maybe they'll just won't show up for the showing. Or just had one just last month that left the combo in the box, with the box wide open and the key just hanging out. He locked the door, but the
left the key
lockbox was
there.
wide open with the key right there.
Oh my gosh.
I've had them show up late, show up early, not show up at all, and fail to cancel. So these things happen a lot on showing nightmares. Use the restrooms without permission and not flush, which is a problem. My name is Barb Schlinker. I am the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. I'm also the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb has the buyer's team, and we're talking about agent showing nightmares. And next up, we're going to talk about what you can do in order to avoid those agent showing nightmares. And if you are thinking of making a move in the next 3 to 6 months, as part of what we do, we help home sellers get the most amount of money when they sell their home, either with cash offers or with buyers, lots of buyers, creating lots of buyer demand for their home so they get the most money. So give us a call at 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She is the host of the program, and she is the owner proprietor of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Reach her at 719-301-3900. We're talking, Barb, about moving. What are some agents showing nightmares, and what can home sellers do to protect themselves?
Well, one tip is, when you do have other people in your home unsupervised, make sure all of your valuables are locked up, all your alcohol is put away. anything small that can run away that has value to you, just put that away, okay? Because it's just too easy to lift it and stick it in a pocket. It doesn't happen very often, but you really don't want it to happen. Recently had a seller I represented up in a very expensive neighborhood, $2.4 million sale, and he had hired another agent prior to me. And what happened was somebody asked for a showing. The agent popped up at the door. Okay, I'll show it. I'll show it. Oh my God, a commission for $2.4 million sale. Woohoo. And she didn't vet this buyer at all. And this particular home had what we call a safe room. Now, I, as the subsequent agent, never got to see this room. But basically, this person only wanted to see this room. Now, the seller was home at the time. He said, nope, not going to show it to you unless you buy the house. And it turned out he looked up his name after the showing. He had just gotten let out of jail, right? So that's what I'm saying about no vetting that could go on with people coming into your house. So you have to protect your private valuable belongings for sure. And then I never got to see the safe room, actually. The seller wouldn't let anybody in until after he had his money. So I never saw it either. And first impressions, of course, are very important. You want to make sure that you exceed expectations when the buyers come in your home. It's good to play nice, pleasant music, leave the lights on, make sure it smells nice. You want to make it look like a model. That's why the models are so successful with selling homes, because it just smells good, feels good. Another thing that you want is, it's okay to have cameras up. You have to expect in a majority of the homes these days, there's going to be some kind of camera up somewhere. And that's where you get to hear the actual feedback of what the agents are saying, what the buyers are saying. And you want to make sure when you're selling a home, you hire the team that helps you prepare for agent showing nightmares and helps you get top dollar when you sell. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, your home sold guaranteed realty. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Barb, you love talking about your hot new listings. What do you have for us today?
Well, I've got a great home out on 35 acres out east in the threes. I've got a fabulous home in Fountain on Blue River Way in the low fours. This thing has an amazing 3-story shed. A great home down in Fountain on Lavania Place in the mid fours. I also have a fantastic townhome in Briargate in the low threes, and a beautiful home on Brundage Drive, big rancher with a half-finished basement. It's got fresh carpet and furnace and roof. Spectacular home on Palma Valley, backs to dedicated open space in the Glen Eagle area in the upper sixes. Beautiful home on Gull Lane. And this one is out in Peyton on 5 acres. It has a solar system. It has a detached garage, a couple of barns, fenced and cross fenced. It's perfect for somebody that has a lot of 4-legged family members. And new to the market this week, beautiful ranch on 5 acres on a Cowie Way out in Peyton in the mid sevens. This one also has a barn and lots of space for the 4-legged family members. And sneak peek, we have a couple of homes coming very soon. One in the Powers Corridor in the low fours. And this one is like the deal of the year. It's a 5-plex that's offered under $450, close to Fort Carson. And you veterans, you may not know that you can actually buy a 4-plex, 5-plex type of property, live in one unit, and get credit for all the current rental income. It's almost like living rent-free. So if you'd like to find out about all of our current homes and our coming soon homes, I've got another one coming soon, beautiful home in the Broadmoor. Give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You've been listening to Your Real Estate Voice, airs every Saturday. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb Schlinker, 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. If you couldn't listen to the entire show, you can watch replays on Barb's YouTube channel, Barb Has the Buyers, or listen to the podcast on all of the popular platforms, Apple, iHeart, Spotify. Thanks for listening. And to reach out to Barb, again, 719-301-3900.